might have to defend a good movie, a bad movie, but you just got to go with the flow, argue whatever you got, and the third person will be the judge / moderator.
300 against Inception. I think 300 is just so much better than Inception.
You had me at the beginning very strong mentioning bullet time because you know how much I love bullet time and that camera trick. So
Taika Waititi nailed it with Thor Ragnarok, and then he one-upped himself with Thor Love and Thunder. Welcome to Backseat Directing,
where we talk about movies, TV shows, comics, and more.
We're your hosts,
Andrew
and Aaron, with Justin.
We post new episodes every Monday and Thursday.
And on this episode, we're doing a little movie debate.
3, 2, 1, action.
I didn't really know what to call this episode because we didn't really discuss the name because it's kind of a complicated game debate thing that we're going to be doing this time around. This idea was actually Justin's. Justin, thanks again for coming on the show for, I don't know, your 6th or 7th time now. You've been on a bunch of episodes.
Yeah, something like that.
But that means if this episode flops, then it's on you.
Yeah, it is my fault.
I don't know. All of his podcast episodes on his podcast do pretty good.
Whoa. Subscribers
Cinema 3D.
Nowhere near your subscribers, so.
But those views, man. Those
You guys
views
are the legends.
We're all growing. So the concept for today's episode is that we have taken, each of us did like 8.
Yeah, somewhere around
8 or so top movies that we put, and we wrote them down, folded them, and put them into this little bin here to draw from. And we're going to, 2 at a time, we'll randomly pick a movie out. So Justin will pick one and I'll pick one, and then we'll debate over whose movie is better. We've put in pretty much half and half, movies we think are great and movies we think are not so great. So you might have to defend a movie somebody else wrote. You might have to defend a good movie, a bad movie, but you just got to go with the flow, argue whatever you got. And then the third person will be the judge / moderator who will control the debate and vote for who is the winner at the end of, 5-minute mark?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then also in the comments below, you guys can comment who you think ended up being the winner of each movie debate. Like Andrew said, there's some good ones in there and there's some not so good ones. But yeah, we're going to pick it and then you have to defend it like your life depends on it. I'm kind of excited to be the judge, just to kind of sit back and listen to you two, like go back and forth.
Since you're excited, do you want to moderate first?
I'd be honored. I thought you'd never ask.
Oh boy.
All right, so how about the moderator puts the timer on his phone and then the other two can use their phones for notes. But you don't really get any time to prepare, right?
Oh, yeah. We're
All
not
right,
Batman.
We're live.
We're live
No Batman in
from
this.
New York City.
All right. I'm holding it out to Justin. And Justin's getting...
Well, grab. Oh, yeah. I guess it doesn't matter.
Okay. I got 300.
Nice.
And I got Inception.
Oh.
This is gonna be a tough one right off the bat. Okay, so now to clear things up, just so we're all on the same page, I am picking the best defense of the movies. So not necessarily my favorite movie. Now, it might be a little bit harder for the person that has the movie that I don't like as much, but I have to pick who did the best job of defending the movie. And if you guys both suck, then I have to pick the better movie.
All right.
All right, ready?
Do we decide who goes first or?
Yes. 3, 2, 1, timer.
Choose.
So civil. So civil.
Okay, so I got rock to his scissors, so I'm going to go first. My movie is Inception. So I'm going to just highlight Inception's greatness. It's obviously directed by the modern master of directing, Christopher Nolan, starring an absolutely insane stat cast. We've got Leonardo DiCaprio, we've got Elliot Page, we've got Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy, an insanely stacked, talented cast with one of the best scripts that you've ever read. It's complicated, so you get amazing return viewings where you get additional details. This movie shot with insane practical effects for such a fantastical script and story, where you see a giant, humongous hallway built to the biggest scale probably of anything of that nature in a film production, actually rotating while stunt performers and Joseph JGL himself actually performing some of the stunts himself in the hallway, as compared with 300, where you've got a lot of green screen work, a lot of soundstage, a lot of, not really being on set. It does look good, admittedly, for 300, but it's just missing that practical approach. You can tell that it wasn't filmed practically. And man, Inception is just, it's so enjoyable. And every time I watch it, I enjoy it more and more. You've got an incredible score that I can't neglect to mention. It is one of the all-timers. And just the cool conceptual nature of diving into like time the way they do, the way Nolan always does, and going into like the basement membrane of the dream is like so super cool. So I love the concept of the totems. It's beautiful, iconic imagery. And I'll let Justin argue for 300.
Whew, this is
So civil. You guys have 3.5 minutes left.
all right. This is tough because all good points. I like how you brought up the green screen and compositing work because in 300 that is the shining element of it, along with the action that's delivered across screen. I know Zack Snyder does slow-mo a lot, but that is the best use of slow-mo he's ever done. The grading in that movie, and I know I'm talking about technical aspects, but the grading,
All goes
the
into it.
compositing, the music, it all works so well for that action movie. And that is the action movie when you think of like someone always references, oh, you're doing a 300 move right there. Like, you know, you see a jacked dude, you need 300, Leonidas, like Gerard Butler, legend, best movie ever for him. Zack Snyder, I love the direction. I love the visual storytelling he has in that very, very moody movie. And it makes you feel like a man.
Feel like man.
Feel like a man. It actually does have a good story though. You know, going through like 300 men fighting against thousands, the underdogs, you know, like it's tough. But 300 against Inception, I think 300 is just so much better than Inception. I don't think Snyder is a better director than Nolan, but I think Snyder chooses to do more out of the box ideas than Nolan does. Nolan
How so?
I think Snyder picks his projects in a way where he can be more attached to them than Nolan does in a way where Nolan knows that he can execute to perfection for the audience. Snyder doesn't.
You're saying Snyder takes more risks?
He does take more risks, but I don't think Snyder cares about the audience as much. And sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it's beneficial for him. Because, I mean, we've seen with the Snyder Cut, like, the audience loved it. But we've also seen with BVS, a lot of people didn't like it. I think he just does his thing. And when he does his thing, it's one of the best things ever.
I wanted to respond to your comment about the slow motion and all that with 300. I think that what's really cool with the slow motion in Inception is like the way that it plays into the actual story as an element, because you get the slow motion scenes where the truck is the van is rolling over and you're seeing in real time what's happening there. But then since they're in a dream layer, time is slowed down. You're going to see how much action is happening just in that small few seconds where the truck is rolling down into the water. The incredible imagery of the like water splashing up in super slow motion. I feel like it's
1 minute, gentlemen.
It plays more of a part of the story, whereas in 300, you could argue it's just an aesthetic element.
It's just there for aesthetics. I agree. But I think in a movie that badass, it needs to be there. But in Inception, it works even more for the story.
I mean, also in Inception, they have guns. So like your people, you haven't even invented guns yet.
It's Spartans. Like, I mean, this is just
They are the weapon.
this is man's swords.
But can you
like
name another?
arrows.
But in terms of the actors, like who's another great actor in 300? I do know one, but who's another great actor in 300 besides?
Put him on the
not even
spot.
looking. It's freaking X-Men dude.
Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender. Yeah,
That's who I was
there we go. Yeah, so he's in it. But Leonidas is the
Dude, I got Michael Caine.
No, I mean, you know, it's hard. Inception is awesome, but you know, I
But
think
300 is better?
I think 300 is better.
Okay.
You're gonna clip this.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We're gonna put this out on the podcast.
And 3, 2, 1. Time is up. Well done, guys. I think you guys both did a good job
I
defending
think
the
you defended
movies.
your movie really well.
This was
It was tough.
I know, Justin, how hard this movie was for you to go up against because this is your favorite movie of all time.
I was so happy when I pulled Inception because Inception, it's your favorite movie of all time, but it's also in my top 10. So like, I'm comfortable defending it, and I know you have to argue it. You have a disadvantage of arguing against something you love.
So I'm going to start with Andrew. He did a great job right off the bat. He talked a lot about different aspects of the movie.
I'm glad I got the opening.
Yeah, you didn't focus on one aspect of what goes into making a film. Whenever we rate films, we have a bunch of different categories, and you talked about multiple categories, explaining why this was good. But then, Justin, something that you did that was really good was you took what he said as kind of like a oh, it's a bad thing about 300 is that they're all on green screen. It wasn't real. And you're like, yeah, that's the best part of the movie. Like, that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
And it still looked great. It was heavily stylized. And whenever movies are heavily stylized, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So you did a good job arguing that. I did believe Andrew a little bit more that he like believed in his movies.
Yeah.
Only up until like kind of the end where you were like, but it's hard. You were like,
tough,
it's hard.
bro.
Like,
It's so hard.
I feel like if you just had that confidence at the end, I could have felt the impacts because you were doing pretty good. But then Andrew, where you won it for me was when you took the slow motion that he said was an awesome part of his movie. And you said it is an awesome part, but it was done even better in Inception. So you took his cool part and put better meaning to it in your movie with Inception. So that's first win I give to Andrew. If we want to, we can have the winners keep the papers.
Okay. And I'll.
Aaron's a scoreboard guy. He likes to. He likes
I
to
don't
know
know.
who.
Yeah, it's fun.
So now,
Well, whoever wins the most, gets
Yeah.
a piece of pizza. I don't know.
so now a redemption arc.
Yeah, what's something cheap that we can all afford?
Does the winner fights against the next one? Maybe.
I think we should, because we don't want Andrew just to be arguing the entire time.
I do.
that's
I
true.
do want to moderate.
Yeah, so I think we should just rotate clockwise. So
Okay,
you'll
so-
be the moderator now,
Okay.
if that's cool. Yeah,
Oh, so we're arguing?
yeah.
Let's do it. I'm used to this.
All right. So
I know I don't like this because I like preparation against you because you think on your feet really fast. I'm definitely gonna need IMDb up. I bet. All right, I pick
he
first.
didn't pull out his phone once.
I know. He's
I
just
start the timer once you guys
at
pick.
3:39. They did this in the movie and it was
Bro,
great.
and he brought up like, I don't think you could name another actor. I'm like, oh no.
That was cold. That was cold. That was cold. Okay, I know what I got. What do you got? I want to hear yours.
Okay. Andrew will be arguing for Interstellar.
Ooh, and I have Blade Runner 2049.
Oh, two sci-fi.
Ooh.
Two sci-fi heavy hitters.
All right. Timer is start. Oh wait.
Andrew, I'd like you to go first.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
I'll go ahead. I'll go first.
There we go.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
So to start off right off the bat, Interstellar's got Hans Zimmer on the sticks, and Hans Zimmer is just composing his ass off in this movie. Like the strings, oh my god, like that music just it runs through you. Like it's like a soul of a ghost passing through you. Like it's such beautiful music. The movie
Hans
is,
Zimmer also does Blade Runner
the movie
2049.
is on. It's my time to speak, sir. The movie is.
We can do whatever we want.
movie is
it's
on-
our 5 minutes.
So, in terms of sci-fi, the great thing about Interstellar is it's on such a huge intergalactic scale. It's playing with the concept of time. Now, Blade Runner 2049, great movie. I don't want to knock it too much. I really love it, but it's not on as big of a scale. The movie, which not always a bad thing, but for this sci-fi concept, Interstellar just feels so big. It feels like a movie when you watch it in IMAX, like your jaw is just hitting the floor. The movie, like it's beautiful visuals, beautiful music, and the imagery of the black holes, of the planets, of like the tidal wave, just the scope of the movie, it makes you feel small and insignificant, which is like a cool sci-fi element. Like it makes you feel tiny and makes you feel the scope of space in general, which is not only a plot point of sci-fi, but specifically so cool in the script of this movie. Like the way that the movie also ties back and plants seeds in the writing from the very beginning of like the book or whatever it is falling off the bookshelf, and then you find out that that's him trying to speak to Murph later on. The cast is always again stacked because Chris Nolan, like I said, the modern master. Getting to argue for my favorite director of all time is a little bit easier. But you've got Topher Grace is in this movie, which is like,
Yeah, why do you keep getting Nolan films?
Topher Grace, Casey Affleck,
You got like a magnet on these?
Matthew McConaughey, Michael Caine again. Like you've got an absolutely insane stacked cast of incredible actors. And the scene of Matthew McConaughey just breaking down when he sees how much his kids have aged and missed him throughout his life, when he promised he would be back for
All right,
Murph in time.
I think his sister.
So
Good points.
the main thing that you talked about was kind of like the cinematography and the locations and how it all brought you into where they're at and it made you as the audience feel like small, like you're in this giant world. Well, I'd argue that Blade Runner 2049 strongest suit is by far the cinematography, the set design, the location, the coloring, the lighting. Oh my gosh, it's freaking perfect. On one of our last podcasts, Andrew said that Blade Runner 2049 is the best looking movie ever made. So thank you for giving that point. But
One of many elements of a movie.
I would argue that Interstellar does a good job of like making it look good and stuff, but space is a lot easier to make look good than a whole new world that doesn't even exist. So a lot had to go in there to really bring you into these new locations.
Sorry, the tidal wave planet wasn't a whole new world. The ice planet wasn't a whole new world that doesn't
Yeah,
exist.
and all that's great,
was
but,
Earth.
but literally the whole movie on this is something new, something creative. And then they had an original Blade Runner, right? And so this is the second one, which that one was already really good, and they made this one even better.
So I want to say that the planets were also whole new things that didn't exist. But also I neglected to mention the plot twist of Matt Damon popping up in this movie, plus the scene where they're like trying to get control of the ship, plus TARS, such a cool, unique idea for a robot in a sci-fi movie. Like Interstellar just has so much that goes into it. Plus, like, yes, Roger Deakins on camera. Love him. He's
Behind the camera.
But he could never do what Hoyt van Hoytema did, which at the time of Interstellar 2014, they did not have portable IMAX cameras. The beast Hoyt van Hoytema put an IMAX camera on his shoulder and filmed mobile with IMAX. That Roger Deakins could not do that. He does not have the physical strength. So that movie is only possible.
He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to. He made a better looking movie without having to sweat his butt off.
How do you mean better? Better looking is subjective. Like
Exactly. That's what we're arguing. Arguing a better movie in general is subjective.
Dude, I'm saying sitting in the chair in IMAX theater, would you want to be watching Blade Runner 2049 or Interstellar?
Absolutely.
Because Interstellar is
Absolutely Blade Runner 2049. Hands down.
All right, I'm gonna stop.
Much
you guys
wider
right
color
there.
palette.
We got 45 seconds left. I need a little bit more, so I'm gonna give you guys an extra minute and a half.
I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, no,
All right, I haven't even gotten to the acting. We have Ryan Gosling as K. Now, a lot of people, I really appreciate how Ryan Gosling took the kind of stoic approach to the character, right? He showed emotion without like being over dramatic.
he gets
like
critiqued a lot for being stoic though. Does he have any Oscars?
no, but the movie does.
I will say that Matthew McConaughey, the star of my film, does have an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club, Best Actor. So
yeah, and is that in this movie,
it's a sign
Interstellar?
of the talent of the person starring in this movie.
Did
Dude,
Interstellar win any Oscars?
you not breaking-
Did Interstellar win any Oscars?
Are you not
like
break-
on its own? Did Interstellar? Because mine did.
talking louder, I guess, is an argument strategy. I mean, you don't have to.
Listen to mic volume.
But the first of all, 2014 is a very competitive year. But also Matthew McConaughey's performance breaking down when he sees Murph aging up without him. No one can help but feel the emotional weight of that scene. And like, there's nothing to that extent in Blade Runner in terms of performance. There's good performances in the movie. I'm not saying that, but there's nothing to that extreme, like emotional. Like your daughter's aged 30 years, where you've been gone, and for you it's been like a couple months. You know, that's
Yeah, but it took 2 hours and 45 minutes to actually get to that emotion.
no, it did not.
You guys each got 30 seconds to make your final thoughts. Go.
Best looking film of all time, Blade Runner 2049. Music, I would say, at least is equal to Interstellar. Don't even give me that little acting, solid performances. We have Ana de Armas. That's 10 points right there. Come on. Dave Bautista in the beginning.
10 seconds left.
That was awesome. And that's it. That's all I'll say.
All right.
I'll say that my movie was memorable enough that I didn't have to hold my phone in front of me and scroll through IMDb while I read.
That has nothing to do with the movie. That's just your memory of
But-
useless facts.
I want to focus in on the plot of this movie, because Aaron didn't say a single good word about the plot of his movie. So this movie, yes, he said equal to a bunch of things, but the plot of Interstellar far surpasses. It lays eggs in the beginning that hatch by the end of the movie for you. It builds meaningful relationships,
That is if
especially
you
between the main
stay
characters.
awake
This is
all
my
the way
30
to the
seconds.
end.
My 30 seconds. So meaningful relationships between the main character and his daughter, and you're dealing with like this gut-wrenching emotional. Is my time up?
Yep.
Boom.
I got your point, though. All right. I need to look up one thing about the movies really quick.
Good argument. Good debate. Good debate.
That one's tough, dude. Honestly. I see both
They're
sides.
such good movies.
All
Like
right. So Interstellar is 2 hours and 49 minutes, and Blade Runner 2049
it's also long. 2:15.
is the same.
Oh, it is?
It's like 3 minutes apart. So
Yeah, but Andrew didn't say that.
okay. So I like your point with Hans Zimmer, but Hans Zimmer also did the music for 2049. I'm trying to keep this objective.
The
based
time
on
point doesn't even
opinion.
make sense though, because he's saying it takes them this long to get to that point, but it's like that's in the first. They're like the
I
second.
believe
act of
it's
the movie.
time for the moderator to talk. The judge.
I'm a very nice guy.
You were speaking in the middle of my.
Yeah, but we're allowed to debate and argue. But now it's the judge's turn, so we're not supposed to.
He said you
interrupt
each have 30 seconds, so that means I get my 30 seconds.
Yeah,
That doesn't
and-
mean we each talk.
No, but we were talking. We're allowed to do that. He's the one that has to control us. Now he can talk.
I think on the music aspect, your arguments were kind of even. I think on the visual aspect, it is also even. You brought up Hoyt van Hoytema. You brought up Roger Deakins, which are both legends. I did like your point about him creating the handheld IMAX camera because that is an insane aspect. And I don't think Roger Deakins could do that. But the fact that this man
Now
is
you can film
super,
IMAX on a
the fact that
Sony
this man is, I think he's older, way older than Hoyt van Hoytema.
He is much older. He's filming
and he
digital
was-
also. He's moved towards filming digital Deacons and Interstellar.
Digital Deacon.
That's what we call him. That's what his friends call him. I think that Hoyt van Hoytema was filming on IMAX film. So
That's incredible. But the fact that both those films look as good as they do says great things about both of them. I think the only thing that I can pick that separates your arguments is the connection from beginning to end that Andrew brought up. As far as plot connection, because Blade Runner 2049, I think, is a great sequel, and I think your points about it being a sequel are valid, and the fact that we all agree that it is a better movie than the original, which is a hot topic anyway. But I think that the fact that Interstellar is its own movie, and the point you brought up does add, leagues to that point, and I think that's what gives. That's the only thing that I can think of that gives the edge to Andrew right now. So I think Andrew wins this debate.
thank goodness.
There you
That's
go.
tough
I've been putting
though.
these
I mean,
on the side.
both good arguments and both great movies. So
It was you guys giving good arguments. I'm sweating. I was honestly really worried you guys were going to pick the other person. Both
yeah,
times.
but shout out to Andrew for picking two Nolan movies back to back.
I wanted to get something crappy here.
it's such a good advantage.
Now
for me.
watch. We're both gonna pick a crappy movie right now that he's the moderator. All right.
I'm excited to moderate. I get to kind of recharge my batteries.
I know. So now we don't know who's gonna win now.
Oh, I know. No, yeah, I think
up
Aaron's
in the
gonna
air.
win. But keep in mind, you can ask questions. I didn't want to ask questions because I enjoy listening
Yeah,
to you guys argue.
you can ask questions and we can argue, but you can stop us from arguing.
Yes.
And tell us who you want to hear from.
You have the power.
Yeah.
Oh,
You want to read our movie name at the same time?
let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
The
Django
Matrix.
Unchained.
Oh no. Both. Oh no.
Yeah, this is great.
Here, I gotta do the timer. All right, are you guys ready?
Yeah, but as soon as we're done with that, we're gonna have to stop.
Yeah.
And
Break.
timer.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and go first.
Okay.
Okay. The Matrix has to be one of the most groundbreaking movies in cinematography and filmmaking. Let's just go right to it. Bullet time. Freaking amazing, dude. They had how many cameras was it? I don't know, at least 50 all in a circle. And they jumped into that heavily stylized film. It felt kind of like a comic book movie before comic book movies came out. It had where you're jumping off the walls in creative ways, but then using slow motion. You guys were talking about slow motion in your guys's earlier debate, and I think this does it in a creative way. And you could argue oh, but it's not telling the story, but it is. It's highlighting the highly impactful parts of different fights and different movements in a way that we've never seen before at this point in 1999 when this movie came out. Keanu Reeves. I mean, come on. The man, the amount of time that he puts into his characters in terms of the physicality of how he learns, the different combat and all that stuff, fantastic. And then what's more iconic than the two options, the two pills, red or blue?
The meme.
That comes up all the freaking time. All right, I'll go ahead and let Justin have his opening remarks.
All right. So Django Unchained. What do I have to say? Quentin Tarantino, one of the best directors. When you talk to any person, you talk about Nolan, you talk about Scorsese, you talk about Tarantino. That's it. Leonardo DiCaprio, Christoph Waltz, Jamie Foxx, Kerry Washington, many legendary names in this film. One of the best Western films that I could think of. I mean, am I wrong? No, exactly. See, I got my debater agreeing with me.
I mean, Cowboys and Aliens was pretty good.
Ass. Anyway, Leonardo DiCaprio's performance, God tier. Jamie Foxx's performance, Christoph Waltz. Like, they're all so good. Great direction, great visuals. I mean, the color grading in this film, I don't necessarily like Western films that much, but when I watch them, especially when it's Tarantino, I don't know. There's something about the color grade in that. It's like the very saturated oranges, but then the skin tones are accurate. I know I'm getting very technical in this, but like
You are a colorist.
it's
so.
yeah, like that type of stuff just gets my gears going in the best way possible. I don't know, man. It's just like so many memes I've seen from this movie, and I know memes are kind of deemed as bad, but
Yeah.
I'm
glad you've seen the memes.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah,
had
no.
my curiosity.
No.
Now you have my attention.
In a sense, like there's a lot of good content that comes from the movie because so many people have seen it
Right.
and they all like it. Just
Yeah.
like The Matrix, the Red.
Yeah,
Blue
you're
Pill.
using my point to promote your movie.
Oh yeah,
as well.
no, you always got
that's
one
cool.
up on the other.
That's
person's
cool. You
point.
mentioned all your great actors. I can finish mentioning my. Okay, yeah.
But the other thing was the fact that you said something about the what was it, the slow mo or the
Yes.
Yeah, I talked about slow mo and bullet time.
yeah, the slow mo sucks. So there's not that much slow mo in Django Unchained.
Why does slow mo suck?
Well, it doesn't suck. But I'm just.
Are you lying on Stan, sir?
I am lying that slow mo sucks.
I only
But,
asked because you just were talking about slow motion. And
While you're recovering,
hey, while I'm recovering, let me finish my point. So
Lawrence Fishburne,
Django and
Carrie Ann Moss, Hugo Weaving. So many great actors and actresses that are in this film as well.
God, I love Hugo Weaving.
Yeah, so good.
I will
Their
say
fight at the end.
Hugo Weaving is much better as Megatron. That hands down, no question. Keanu Reeves is much better as John Wick. Lawrence Fishburne is much better in John Wick.
Saying it's none of the most iconic roles.
So they
Lawrence
just
Fishburne is better in John Wick.
Oh yeah.
so they just get higher
Pigeon handler.
and higher. That doesn't mean this movie is bad, but I also don't agree with you. I think that there are
What was
better
the other end of your
performances
point
here.
before when you were trying to talk?
Oh no, that slow mo. The fact that there's barely any slow mo in Django Unchained just makes the movie even better because the time stamp of the movie is not stretched out like The Matrix is. So I think that
Yeah, but again, it adds to the story because it's highlighting one, its style, but then also these impactful moments in a way that we haven't seen before. Like it was groundbreaking in photography.
I
and
see that
film.
99 groundbreaking, but
But what did your film do that pushed filmmaking?
that is a good question, and I'll answer it for you. So Leonardo DiCaprio and Quentin Tarantino and all those people,
5 seconds.
5 seconds, they made a legendary film that we all know and love.
That's time.
I like it.
Good work, guys. Okay, so you guys are arguing two of my favorite all-time movies. So far, we've come across a lot of them because Inception's also top 10. So those, your guys' two movies. I don't say this for every movie. I have a written top 10.
Interstellar, where's that?
But it's not in the top 10. But Django Unchained and The Matrix are definitely in my top 10. They're definitely both in my top 5, actually. So it's a hard decision between the movies, but your arguments were both really good. I think that, Justin, you made a lot of really good points getting down to the nitty gritty of the coloring of the movie and talking about, I personally also don't prefer Westerns, but you mentioned something that really struck home with me, which is like, that's one of my top 3 directors, Tarantino, and he can write the hell out of a script. So the script for this movie is phenomenal. It's so witty, so sharp, and it keeps you engrossed in the movie. If the backdrops were crap and the camera work was crap, I would still be like enthralled in this movie because I just love the way the actors deliver this snappy, beautiful dialogue. So good on you for mentioning that. Aaron, you had me at the beginning very strong mentioning bullet time because you know how much I love bullet time and that camera trick. So I think that you highlighted the actors really well. I'm in love with Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus. You highlighted the camera work and how revolutionary of a movie it was. Coming out in 1999, that movie looks so good by today's standards. And like you said, it changed movies in general. So many movies copy it, talking about how iconic it was. In the end, I have to give my point to Aaron. But I will say that when we picked our topics, we put some in here that we haven't all seen. And Justin had to argue for a movie that he has not seen with Django Unchained. And if you couldn't tell,
That means he did a good job.
he did a hell of a job.
Yeah.
Where we're sitting too, your argument was really. I think you were missing some of. Obviously,
missing plot points.
some of the plot points and granular. Like you should have been able to talk about the plot more if you had seen it, and some
performance.
some of the big scenes, like getting more involved with some of the big scenes, and like the ending to that movie is so good. Plus, personally, Aaron doesn't like it that much. I really like the camera work in that movie. You don't like
Well,
the
Aaron
you don't
doesn't
like the
really
zooms.
like the Matrix that much, right? Either.
He likes it all right.
Is more
Yeah, I think.
Django?
Yeah, I like both of the movies.
Yeah,
they're
just not as much.
They're not like they're not my top 10.
Django,
movies.
you also could have mentioned was really funny, very funny, and
See, I would have not have thought about that.
See, I like the zooms a lot. I like the use of red and the use of blood symbolically in the movie, and I really like just like the big scenes. Like the writing is so good. I'm gonna get into repeating myself here, but I love both of these movies, so I was just glad to be able to listen to it. I'm mad that I don't get to argue for it.
That was a fun one for
I'm
you
mad
to not
that,
be debating.
Like, I have not seen that yet, and
Yeah.
I had to defend it. And
Yeah.
knowing that I have such a lover of that movie right next to me,
You did a good job when I was like, yeah, well, what did your film do for filmmaking? You're like, I will tell you.
and then I
made
had 5
sure-
seconds left.
I made sure to point out something that would like really trip you up with only like 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
So I was like really trying not to like point out the obvious. I try to hide it.
I feel
You didn't know.
critical of movies that are like my favorites like this, like people like talking about them. So you guys did a really good job considering I was like
Hey,
listening.
watch it be worse when I've actually seen it. Wait, am I picking?
Yeah. I'm the
Yeah.
moderator
Oh, it's
now.
me and it's Andrew. Oh boy, it's gonna be rough again. I'm never gonna win one.
What do you mean rough again? You did so good in the last debate.
You really did.
Are we gonna name them at the same time? Gosh, he's gonna get another Nolan movie, bro.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Who do you got?
Green
Widow.
Lantern.
This is gonna be fun.
All right.
All right, now you're arguing that this movie is better than the other. In 3,
I like how you
2,
said that.
1.
Rock paper scissors again.
5 minutes
I'm
has
ready to go.
started.
Dang,
Boom.
you got me.
All right.
All right, Green Lantern first. Am I going?
Yeah, if you want.
Go ahead.
All right. So
You guys do whatever you want.
Green Lantern. First off, DC is miles, leagues, light years better than Marvel. So that's my first point of
The
why
cinematic universes.
DC in general. DC in general is better than Marvel. And
Substantial.
circumstantial. Anyway,
going.
I'm losing time. Green Lantern, Ryan Reynolds. I mean, come on. He is one of those legendary actors. Regardless of what movie he's in, you can find enjoyment out of Ryan Reynolds being on screen. I mean, I'm not wrong. I know I'm not wrong on that fact. The people in this movie. Blake Lively, Peter Skarsgård, Mark Strong as the villain, Green Lantern.
What is there to say?
Tell me about like
what more is
the.
there to say? I mean,
I'm a big
it's
cinematography guy. Tell me
it's
about
visually
the visual-
stunning.
yeah.
Let me add. It's visually stunning. Visually stunning movie. I mean, the colors pop, regardless of what you think about the movie. The colors do pop. Green, yellows. That's all you get. But it's great. It is so good to see this character in his first live action debut. Such a joy. I did not watch it in theater. I punch myself in the face every night because I haven't seen that movie in theater.
Can I pick up now?
But like, Mark,
do whatever you want.
But honestly, Mark Strong as the villain, great.
Yeah, as we can see from Shazam 1, where he's clearly always such a strong villain. So I'm going to just say, I'm going to open up with Black Widow, saying at least my character did not have a CGI mask on their face the whole movie that looked like absolute trash. You could see her face. Talking about Ryan Reynolds being a star, ScarJo is just as big of a star. There's something for everybody there. Everyone loves ScarJo on the screen. Very talented actress. She finally got her solo movie, so if you vote against this movie, you're voting against women. She was wronged once when it went straight to streaming. You're going to wrong her again. That's all I'm saying. But this movie has a lot of strengths. I will say it's not my favorite movie, but my movie has, sequels and characters in it so beloved that it spawned return appearances. Did anybody return or any sequels? They trashed the sequels. They set up like a Parallax sequel for the villain of Green Lantern. They trashed that. Right? They made jokes about how bad it was. But getting back to how good my movie in Deadpool, to be clear, they made jokes about how bad it was. They did multiple times.
Yeah.
So, but just to get back how good my movie is, and stop trashing your movie, I have a great cast. David Arbor's amazing. He's so funny. He's great as Red Guardian. You've got Florence Pugh in this movie. She's who I'm talking about spawning future appearances because she shows up in the Hawkeye TV series, and she's going to be in further things in the universe. She's going to be in their version of the Suicide Squad. She's so amazing. You've got a really great cast in this movie, and then you've got a strong female villain as well. Taskmaster's such a cool concept. You get to see Taskmaster physically copying the abilities of Avengers, using Captain America's shield, using Hawkeye's style bow, fighting kicks like Black Panther, like using Spider-Man moves, tying it back to the rest of the MCU. Like, you've got a movie that's part of a greater universe here. It may be a prequel at the time that it came out, but it's connected to other things, whereas Green Lantern's connected to nothing. And again, jokes on jokes about how bad of a movie it is. Black Panther. Black Widow.
He doesn't even know the name of his movie.
Black Widow is on a huge scale.
90 seconds left.
Giant crashing.
Justin, let's go over it. Let's go over to you.
Okay. So a couple combating points. The one being, this movie for Black Widow took years for them to make a solo movie. They were not confident.
Maybe they should have spent a couple years making Green Lantern and not 5 minutes.
Okay, adding on to that point, what better than to have a movie like Green Lantern being so legendary that it spawns Man of Steel?
How did it spawn Man of Steel?
2011 turning into 2013, that's 2 years later. They were like,
doesn't mean it's
Green
not
Lantern
that old.
is so good, we have to make a Superman movie because people love Superman.
Man of Steel was the first movie of a new franchise. They decided they had to do something different because Green Lantern was
And
so
after Black Widow, they trashed it even more with all these shows that the MCU is releasing.
That has nothing to do with Black Widow.
I mean, then I could say, like...
But I was responding to your point.
I lost my argument. Damn it.
But there's a lot of
okay, no,
there's a lot of really cool action in Black Widow. The prison break scene with the snow is really cool.
Do you need more? I mean, because
you get to see
the CGI in Black Widow is god awful.
Yeah, but it looks fantastic if you put it next to Green Lantern.
He just said,
it's not great.
Green Lantern looks miles better than Black Widow.
Cheesy. It looks like
2011
it was done in Photoshop in 2011. It looks like it was done by a high schooler.
But the fact that it was 2011 and you're in what 2022 was Black Widow?
Dude, Black Widow's boots on the ground. There's real action in there. Cars, gritty stuff.
Talk about having a comic accurate villain.
Stop.
Woohoo! Oh, the comic accurate villain line at the end. I don't even think he heard that.
Comic accurate look villain.
Okay.
By the way, that's my alarm, and I hate that you have that sound. So
Yeah, it's the worst thing in the world, isn't it?
yeah,
Okay.
that got civilly heated.
This is hard. This was hard. I tried to let you both talk at the same time, because I was trying to figure out where to go with these movies. So I was trying to let you guys figure out what you wanted to talk about. Andrew, great opening as always for your debates. You highlighted again all the characters, the story, the cinematography, how it spawned other appearances from these characters, which Green Lantern also has other appearances in movies too.
Yeah.
The action figure in Deadpool.
Yes.
Listen, if Green Lantern is the reason we got Deadpool, then that's all the argument you need.
That is a really good point, but you didn't mention it during the 5 minutes, so I don't think I can use that as evidence to make my point.
The only positive thing I would
Extra evidence.
that's the only positive things it spawned is the relationship of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool.
See,
that's it.
the fact that he wanted to give a positive about Green Lantern.
So after
I did watch Green Lantern probably a year ago or so when it came out on Netflix, and going into watching it knowing that it wasn't the best movie in the world, it was fine. It was like kind of entertaining. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I was missing something from your argument, because even though maybe like the story isn't there, maybe some of the CGI looks goofy, they did a pretty good job of like world building, and there's a lot of funny parts, like even if it is cheesy, or you said it looks like a teenager made it or whatever in Photoshop
in high school.
Like, I don't think it looks that bad, mainly because now like I make movies and stuff, and like it would be hard for me to make that stuff. Yeah, like
Sounds like you got to do a lot of backflips to defend this movie.
yeah. But anyways, where I'm going is I was just missing a little bit from your argument. I don't think necessarily Andrew won the argument. I think you kind of just missed a few points from it.
Wow, he's saying I didn't win it. You just lost it.
I failed at defending the greatest movie ever made.
Yes, unfortunately. So I have to give that to Andrew this time around.
Man.
But it hurts me.
Legend
It hurts me to do so.
at debating trash movies, even though this was his first trash movie.
Yep.
Man, so he's got 2, right?
Yeah, you can give that to him. He's got 3.
He's got-
He's won all of them.
Bro.
Besides the one that he wasn't in.
All right. We gotta put some work in, Aaron. You gotta do. I'm gonna stay
I
objective.
need him to get a trash movie here.
I'm gonna stay objective. The problem is we didn't really put that many bad movies.
Yeah.
I feel like some of them are arguably like decent.
Oh boy. Do you want to say our topics or
Yeah.
our movies?
Yeah, we can count
3,
that.
2, 1. Mission
Into the
Impossible
Spider-Verse.
Fallout.
I got one of the best movies of all time.
Wow.
When he said he hopes I get a trash one.
I mean, in my opinion, he got one of the best movies of all time as well.
There we go.
All right. You want to go first?
Do you got a cross or in?
Rock
Into.
Paper-
Into?
I don't
Rock,
think we
paper,
put a cross
scissors.
in there. For who are
You want me to go first?
I'm fine.
Because we can decide. I'll go first. Yeah.
Right. And action.
Okay, Mission Impossible has been around for a very long time, and each movie in said franchise has just gotten better and better and better. And Fallout was what, 7, I think, to come out, and at the time, arguably the best one. I think it had the most compelling villain.
It was 6.
6, yeah, 6.
Was it 6? Okay, thanks. So it had the most compelling villain, none other than Henry Cavill, with the mustache, might I add. Got the iconic muscle pump reload,
I
which
think Solomon Lane's a better villain.
which
He's in
goes,
the movie.
yeah, but he's in the same movie.
That's what I just said.
Yeah,
2 great.
so 2 great villains. I personally see Henry Cavill more as the villain, just because like I didn't like the twist. Of
Character's
him,
name is
so
John Locke, but-
it had a good twist.
30 seconds left.
The fights, great. The halo jump. Is that what it's called?
Halo
Halo
jump.
jump.
Halo.
Halo
High
jump.
altitude, low.
Yeah.
Open.
Freaking incredible. Tom Cruise just doing his stunts is amazing, right? And we could talk all day about that. But the story for these movies is what's like really compelling, to where each one like keeps you involved.
10 seconds.
I'll go ahead and pass it over to Andrew.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. So Into the Spider-Verse is obviously such an amazing movie with iconic voice acting, amazing and
Yeah, they only had to do
stellar
half the work,
animation, excuse me, sir. But the thing I want to key in on is there is one thing that I find groundbreaking about Mission Impossible 5, and that is the Halo jump and the actor doing their own stuff.
6?
Only possible because Mission Impossible 6, only possible because of Tom Cruise. But the entirety of Into the Spider-Verse is groundbreaking because they did new styles of animation, the glitching, animating Miles at a different frame rate as he goes along to become more smooth, as he gets smoother at being a spider person, giving us voice performances from Jake Johnson, from Chris Evans, Chris Pine, from such amazing voice actors. We have such a stacked cast in this movie, and it's so emotional. Like a Spider-Man story like we've never seen it before. We're seeing Spider-Man die. We're seeing a young Spider-Man step into the role, and all the diversity and representation in this movie that we get to see for like a young half Puerto Rican, half black Spider-Man in Harlem, New York. Like it's so well animated. We get to see different styles of animation in the same movie because they animate the different Spider-Man in their own style of animation. We have an anime Spider-Man, a black and white Spider-Man noir. This is one of my favorite movies of all time for a reason. It's the most iconic soundtrack you will ever hear, from the score to the actual chosen songs for the soundtrack. Sunflower for this movie blew up. I mean, it's not even just Sunflower. It's Scared of the Dark. It's all these other songs. The Lil Wayne song that's in there. Like, it's so emotional and heartfelt. It is truly one of the best movies of all time, and they made a great sequel off of it.
Too bad not enough people went to the theaters to beat out the box office numbers of Mission Impossible Fallout. So the audience was more excited for this movie and ended up liking it because they continued to make movies, which yours did too, but your character has been around for much, much longer than Fallout.
Which do you see more people talking about now? It just has to do, it might not have done as well in theaters, but what's hung up on that poster behind you?
Mission Impossible.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, one of your favorite
you're
movies.
projecting.
You hung that poster up.
He's like, that's CGI.
Yeah,
It is more
I
in
think
the,
you're just seeing what you want to see.
it's more in the public mind. It's more thought of. It's more reference. It's a bigger movie overall than Mission Impossible. It's just live action movies sometimes.
Exactly,
perform
it's
better.
carrying the bandwagon of the superhero movies, but this is out on its own.
Carrying that bandwagon of Tom Cruise, of action, of Mission Impossible.
Yeah, and he's straight. He is what's making these movies. Spider-Man was created outside of this.
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know.
Final thoughts, 30 seconds. Aaron, go first.
The best Mission Impossible movie, Fallout, has great acting, great cinematography, and the story is well connected between multiple movies, which keeps you engaged the whole time because you're introduced to new characters, but you've been traveling with these other characters for over a decade now. And Tom Cruise is just the man.
All right. Andrew?
So I'm trying to look up the placement of, because this I don't even know. Mission Impossible Fallout's placement in IMDb's top 250. I don't even know if it's in there, but I know that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is in. It has a above. It has like a 9.0 on IMDb, and it's in the top 50. Whereas Mission Impossible Fallout, nowhere to be found. Possibly, it's definitely not in the top 100, but I don't even think it's in the top 250. So that shows how much the public loves Into the Spider-Verse, respects the movie. I can't harp enough on how groundbreaking the animation is. It looks so stunningly beautiful, and it's laugh out loud
But did they have to
hilarious.
risk? Did they
while
have
being
to risk
heartfelt,
their
having
life?
family
All right,
values,
done.
This movie-
good
Done.
action.
Done. That's it. This is impossible.
Mission Impossible.
This is Fallout. This is my Mission Impossible.
Spider-Verse possible.
Okay, so I am going to. Thankfully, you both have seen these movies, so it's not like you both are faking. If you
Right.
were, legendary performance. I'm gonna have to go through a little bit of your points. So, the fact that your movie is animated and it broke, ground on new animation style is definitely a huge aspect of why your movie it could be better. And I say could because we all have differing opinions, but the fact you brought up with it being the sixth movie and it being probably the most high rated movie at that time. I don't know how seven's done, but like the highest
think this
rated
one's
movie.
higher.
Yeah, it's the highest rated movie out of that series, and that's at least 15, almost 20 years into the series. This one being the first movie of that series. Both holds weight to how great they are, but like I don't know, man. The sixth film in a series doing that good is kind of unheard of.
Also kind of easier to get people to watch it and like it than a movie that...
Yeah, but yours is easier too because it's a character that's been around for decades on decades on decades.
That's the thing I'm struggling with is because this one isn't a series. This one is a character.
Right.
It's a new series from the character, but it's a character everyone already loves.
Both strong points that are kind of arguing the same thing.
I know. Yeah, that's the tough part. Is you guys put me in a stupid position. Animation brings a whole new level of voice acting and visuals that is not seen in live action. But then again, live action brings a whole new practical effect with the stunts.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise's stunts in Fallout are like
Top tier.
the best stunts he's ever done in a Mission Impossible film. Maybe besides the Burj Khalifa, but like the Halo jump.
Burj Khalifa is the best one, yeah.
I know he did the Halo jump 106 times. 106 times. Can you think of doing that? I wouldn't even want to do it once.
Go skydiving.
106 times, and like, yes, I personally think Fallout is better than Spider-Verse. That's just me. You guys might kill me, but kill me. But Spider-Verse is still an amazing film. I'm trying to keep it objective, but I think the fact that you did bring up, and I do like your diversity aspect, but at the same time, there is, what's his face? I forget his name, but there is diversity.
Ving Rhames.
Ving Rhames, yeah. There is Ving Rhames who's been a legend in that series, so I can't really pick one off of that. I would probably have to go Mission Impossible Fallout for the win.
Thank God. I didn't think it was going to happen.
But both very good arguments. I say this argument is better than your last one.
I need Andrew to get a bad movie. So like,
No, like honestly,
I got small advantage on
I
him.
got the best movie.
yo, you got like, yeah. I mean,
I didn't even mention that it won the Oscar for Best Animated.
yes. Which if you had mentioned that, that would have been easier for me to pick Fallout. By the way, but not at a diss to Spider-Verse, but the fact that like, yeah, it's anime. It's of course the best animated movie of the year. But Fallout is just, I think your argument had a sliver of an edge.
Yes.
But your argument was still good. Like, it sucks, dude, because both those movies are so good.
Andrew, you seem sad. This is your first loss. How do you feel?
He hates
There's got to
me.
be losers so there can be winners.
Listen, I'm planning on not winning any of these arguments. So as long as each of you win, I'm happy.
All right, we're moving on to me being the moderator, the judge.
Oh, shoot. You're right. I thought I
Haven't
was going to
seen
get a
that
break.
movie.
I feel like I've been arguing for a long time.
I
We
hope.
didn't even have extra time this time, and you felt like it was a long time.
I know.
Oh, come on.
All right, ready to name your topics? 3, 2, 1.
Thor: Love and
Cross the
Thunder.
Spider-Verse.
Aaron got Thor: Love and Thunder, and you got Across the Spider-Verse. Oh my goodness, guys! Pick again.
Pick again. That's a movie that Justin has also not seen.
Can we swap?
We're not doing
No,
that.
just pick again. I don't want to destroy you.
Destroy, yeah, with Thor: Love and
All right, Justin. 3, 2, 1.
Transformers: Dark of the Moon.
All right, let's get this over with.
Let's do this.
3, 2, 1. Action.
Who goes first?
Good luck. You can.
I go first. All right, piece of cake, dude. Transformers: Dark of the Moon, third film in the Transformers
You're gonna have to work
trilogy
hard for this one.
by Michael Bay. I'll work hard for Michael Bay. This is by most people the best movie in the entirety of the Transformers series. Thor: Love and Thunder is the worst movie in the entire Thor series.
Wrong.
Thor: Love and Thunder, then Thor: The Dark World, then the original, then Ragnarok.
Wrong.
That's the most
Wrong.
often I've seen of the list of Thor movies. Anyway, back to mine. You have the legendary Optimus Prime. People will say Thor is legendary, not as legendary as Optimus Prime. I mean, he's Norse mythology, but like Transformers, Optimus Prime is what I'm trying to say. He is known by kids.
coming.
Sorry.
Say that, bro.
all the time.
I sent him a meme the other day. That's what
Just
Optimus
trying to
loves to
knock
say.
him off his game, you know?
No, but like
Get 30
Transformers,
seconds.
he is loved by kids, he's loved by teenagers, he's loved by adults. Thor is known by our age of people, which at the time we were
Transformers came out forever ago too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like it's loved by every generation. Like no matter what generation you're in, it's always going to be rebooted and always going to be loved.
Same with Thor.
He's saying that Thor isn't.
Thor is
Thor is in Greek mythology.
Yeah,
and
but
was
the
like
only
talked
thing-
about
the only people,
centuries ago,
People only
and it's
love
still around. How many other things have been talked about for centuries?
people only
pick up
love
from
Chris Hemsworth's
All right,
Thor.
Taika Waititi
wrong?
nailed it with Thor Ragnarok, and then he one-upped himself with Thor: Love and Thunder. This is the best version of Thor that we've got to seen.
I'm sorry. How did he one up it though? That's what I'm.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
That's
Don't
the
worry.
point.
Don't
This is
worry.
my job to ask you.
Yeah, I know. But we get a good mixture of Thor being really strong and powerful, but then also Thor like going through emotions. You know, all the weight from everything that he's gone through over the course of these. I don't know, what is there, 28 movies in the MCU? Like, he's probably been in, 8 of them? So, like, he's gone through a lot. He's lost his mother, his father, and everyone else in his life. So we're kind of getting to see all of that come on to him right now. And he's like, covering it up through comedy, through being funny. But inside, he's hurting. And we can see that on screen through Chris Hemsworth's performance as Thor. But I have to talk about the cinematography because that's my thing. I love the
30
cinematography.
seconds.
Because that black and white scene, so cool when they're on the moon, man, and they're just like flying around. They got the different, what are they, like little spider kind of creatures crawling around, and it's all black and white with really big lights. The lights is like rotating around. They had some special rig, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but the way that this was set up was very complicated, and they executed it to the T. And then we have Christian Bale.
All right, no, yeah, you're done.
Woo!
Yeah, so Christian Bale.
Fired up, boy.
Christian Bale is the only point you brought up that was actually valid because
No.
he's
Everything
great.
else I said was true.
No, he
It's
is great.
fact.
But
I want to hear what Justin.
the thing is, everything you said with Thor going through emotion and bottling it up, and by showing comedic, comedic characteristics, that's all well and good. But he's done that in every movie. Since
Not in the first two.
Since Thor Ragnarok.
That's only 2
Yeah,
out
but
of his 8 movies that he's been in.
Also in
But
the
he's also
Avengers.
in other movies.
Avengers 2, Avengers 3, Avengers 4, like Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder. It's all the same Thor, but just done way worse. They already did it great in the Avengers movies and in Ragnarok.
I would beg to differ because in those first movies, he's a lot more serious. He's a lot more stoic.
in the first two.
Yeah, but even in like Avengers Age of Ultron and
He goes
Avengers.
on, but like at the same time, he's dealing with that trauma, and he's also gradually growing into that comedic thing. But like Thor: Love and Thunder just copy and paste what the other ones did, and just does it piss poor.
No.
Yeah.
No. Okay, let's go back to your movie a little bit
My
too.
movie.
What
Oh, yeah, we haven't talked about
character development has anyone in Transformers gone through at all? There's no storytelling to this movie.
There's no storytelling. Are you kidding me?
None.
I mean, Sam Witwickety, as people would love to call him.
Wiki.
Growing into the hero, the full hero type in that third movie, being from the first movie, being just a young high school kid, not knowing what he wants in life, and growing into this hero type who ends up telling one of the most legendary alien robots how to live his life, and he
Blocking
ends
the
up.
camera, man. That's rude.
Sorry. But anyway, there's so much growth in those Transformers movies.
But there's not all of the
only
good
thing
storytelling
bad-
stops at the first one.
The only thing bad is that they switched out Megan Fox for the new actress.
All right, I need a little bit more time to understand. So we're going to 1 minute of overtime free for all. I want to hear more about like the filmmaking in the movies, basically.
Filmmaking. All right. So the CGI and the effects in Transformers are some of the best we've ever seen. Michael Bay is Michael Bay. We know he has his tropes, but he knows how to get a shot done. When he has a visual storyboard, he knows how to tell his crew to get it done and the VFX artists to get it done. Thor: Love and Thunder, yeah, the black and white scenes look great, but everything else is just average.
Even at the end scene, though, when he's like fighting with the kids and stuff, the electricity looks amazing. And then I know what you said, filmmaking, but I think acting goes into filmmaking. I want to talk more about Christian Bale. Christian Bale.
He was in
this
7
movie.
minutes of the movie?
He was in more than that.
No, he was 7 minutes, hour and a half long movie versus a 2
Yeah, and the
hour and a
impact
half.
that he was able to portray in those 7 minutes, he was a
7
villain that I
minutes.
was scared of.
Yo, I would have been scared if he was on for maybe 15 minutes, but no.
But then all the other acting that we saw was fantastic as well.
Talk about, okay, I know you said filmmaking, but talk about Sentinel Prime and being a
time.
Prime. Can I keep going?
No.
That is time. We're gonna cut it off there.
Can I get like a plus? Because I have a point I want to make.
Aaron, if you give him a plus, then you get one too.
I don't want to give him a plus.
Oh, man, he knows he's going to lose. That's why.
I think I've already said enough to win.
So I'm gonna hit you guys with what to me were the highlights of the argument. So Justin had me in the opening with the argument about his movie being better ranked in his franchise than yours. I thought that argument made a lot of sense. I didn't necessarily agree exactly with your ranking. I think Love and Thunder is like the second worst Thor movie, but Dark of the Moon might rank better amongst all, like maybe second best of all of the. For me, I prefer the first Transformers.
You
But-
think? What do you think is better than Love and Thunder? I just want to know. Like,
Oh, is better or worse? You mean?
I mean, worse, yeah.
Thor 2.
Oh,
Just,
wow.
It's because at least it's just boring. Like there's cheesy stuff in Love and Thunder, but man, but Thor 2 is just boring, and that I can't deal with.
That's interesting.
So, yeah, I would probably rank them from best to worst: Ragnarok, then the first Thor, then Love and Thunder, then Thor 2. But so that point had me, and then Aaron really took me. You could probably see it on my face if you were watching on camera.
No.
And I know Aaron probably saw it because I made a face when he said that, when he brought up the black and white scene and how good the cinematography is there. Because these both, let's be real, to me, both these movies, not great.
But like, it's 7 minutes.
But then you also, I think Aaron also may have clinched it for me when he brought up the fight scene at the end of the movie, because there's really cool visuals there and it's funny. And I think what I was missing from your argument about Dark of the Moon was just some specificity. You mentioned the special effects being good, but you mentioned the hero evolving, but I was just missing some specificity that really linked me to it because I haven't seen that movie in a long time. So I needed something to ignite, a passion for your argument. And I'm going to have to give the win to Aaron ultimately.
Bro, that literally makes me want to cry.
Tell the audience why. Tell them why.
Because The Dark of the Moon is miles and leagues better than Thor: Love and Thunder, but also I forgot to mention my point of the hero-villain relationship.
I think Aaron was thinking you were going to say because Aaron hates Thor: Love and Thunder and he had to argue for it.
Oh, he does.
And
I mean, we all
and
do.
you like Dark of the Moon,
But
and you had to argue for it.
We love
We
Dark
love Dark of the Moon. He
Yeah.
doesn't like it as
Yeah.
much. I don't think
Well, that's-
he necessarily hates it.
I think it's the best
but, like,
Transformers movie.
You started in a hole.
Bro, why? Can I win?
No.
You started in a hole for me because Aaron had an easier movie to argue for sure, but I'm trying to be basing it on the argument you guys made. And
I also know what Andrew really liked about Thor.
You
Love
know
and
Andrew Moore.
That helped a lot because
That sucks.
We did an episode covering, and I talked about how much I love the black and white sequence because it's all in black and white, but what they're fighting with, the lightning and the elements of Valkyrie's, like it's in color, and it just looks so cool.
But like at the same time, I know this. I probably should have mentioned this in the argument, but like that's so easy to do. All you got to do is color mask it.
But it's a creative choice that
We
not
do
everyone
that
makes.
all the
No matter
time.
how
But
hard it is to do, it's
the
a.
rotating of the sun that was going around, that was a little more complicated.
It was that was.
but it's
like
a thing
at
that-
the
it's a-
same time,
it's
it's like.
But I also think
it's-
they made it more complicated than it had to be.
it's too little, too late
It's
for
a
me.
fact-
Like Dark of the Moon was a culmination of a great trilogy.
Oh.
Thor was.
Dark of the Moon was a solid movie all the way through.
It's like it transforms.
it's such a good story too. I know I said that it doesn't have story or character development. I was lying.
Well,
Yeah, no.
but when you said that, I was thinking like I know he doesn't believe this, but like I believe it. So like I
but,
was
like, I
agreeing
mean,
with
like,
you when you were saying it, but I knew you
The
didn't
only
believe it.
part that I agree with you is Christian Bale is great, and everything with him in that movie is great.
That's where you turned the argument back a little bit when you were like, he's not in the movie at all. I'm pissed that they wasted Christian Bale.
Aw, dude, I
like
wish-
7 minutes, tragic, not good enough villain. Aaron, I didn't really believe your point that he was menacing in the time. It just wasn't good enough. But then you,
He's just like
No, but
you turned me back when you brought up the end again. So it was a back and forth, but.
that was a good argument.
oh yeah, the
that
great
was good.
CGI with the floating head. Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
Do you guys want to cap it here with the? Right now, me and you are tied.
I mean,
We're tied.
Don't you have 3?
it's up to you guys, but I would love to do at least one more.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I have three debate wins. I wanted to be a moderator again.
I'm down to do one more if you guys are fine.
One more quick round.
Call it
We'll bring it down to 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Man, I got to argue against Andrew again. Oh, give me Shrek. I don't even know if we picked that one. Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Tell me your topics in 3, 2, 1.
I am Legend.
7.
Oh, this is gonna be good. 3, 2, 1. 4 minutes.
All right, so I'm going to go in first. I'm arguing for I Am Legend, which I think is arguably, don't bring up 7 pounds, don't bring up King Richard. I think this is Will Smith's best performance. It's super emotional. The scene with his dog Sam alone, absolutely insane. If that doesn't bring you to tears, you're literally dead inside. Will Smith is such a good performer in this movie, acting alongside just a dog actor. And then like he doesn't get co-stars until like 45 minutes to an hour into this movie. And he's doing so much. It's such an impressive, unique thing to do in a movie where it's like Bo Burnham's inside. He's like by himself, performing to himself, talking to a CB radio, trying to see if there's any humans out there. And the concept is so interesting. What a lot of people, including myself, don't realize initially is that these aren't zombies, but they're vampires. And that's why they're not out during the day. So during the daytime, you get this isolated scenes of him where the world is empty and everyone's gone and he's by himself. And then you get cool nighttime shooting where they're like, it must be so hard to shoot this, but maybe they're going day for night, but it looks beautiful the way they shot it. And he's like going to these dark places. You're really experiencing real true fear and dread, not only through the camera work, but through Will Smith's performance. And you're worried about his dog and like the scene where like they get the dog, like everything surrounding that is so emotional. The way they tie it back to his daughter, man, he's been watching like Shrek, I think, over and over again for like 10 years. It reminds him of
I'm gonna
his
go ahead and
daughter.
cut you off there and go over to Justin. Opening statements.
All right, so 7, directed by David Fincher, starring Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Gwyneth Paltrow, Kevin Spacey. For regardless of what you think about them, legendary actors and actresses, this movie, I'm gonna bring up one of your points with like the whole zombie/vampire thing because that is one of my favorite genres ever. But the fact that this movie 7 is so grounded and can actually happen in real life is just terrifying. And I know it probably has happened in some sort of facet, but like it is every time I watch it, I am scared, like genuinely scared because like it's one of those things you don't really think about. You just live your daily life. But
Are
like
you more scared of one killer or a horde of vampires taking
I
over
mean,
the world?
I'm scared of one killer that's real.
I want to
versus
kind
a
of
horde
focus you guys back in. Cinematography is my favorite. Can you guys talk a little bit about just like how they made this movie, what it looks like, and what went into all of the effects and all that stuff?
Well, one thing for my movie is that my movie has a lot more action. Your movie has one foot chase and then shooting like an execution style scene.
Yes.
So my movie has to shoot a lot more action, which means a lot more dynamic camera movement, which means difficulty. Like of setting this up. They're like emptying out streets in a big city so that they can film on location for this movie and make it look desolate. And then they've got to use special effects afterwards to make the city look completely like, you know, worn down, dilapidated. And I think it looks really good. The wides in this movie look so phenomenal. The city like looks so real, so empty. It looks like nobody's been living in there for years. And you don't bat an eye at the special effects. Like him like just hitting the golf balls off of the pier is like such a statement of loneliness and of itself. And like they get these distant shots from him where you can still hear his voice of the audio recording, and it just makes him feel like he's so small and alone and isolated. And I feel like it creates that.
Gonna go over to Justin.
Yeah, so
40 seconds.
The huge difference between our movies is that yours required a lot of CGI, VFX. Mine required a lot of natural practical effects. I think one of the huge pluses for this movie is that it relies heavily on the actors' capabilities to portray great performances with lockdown camera scenes, with a little bit of handheld, with great cinematography, color grading, and
mine's the same. But he's acting to nobody. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that but like back and forth to go with.
But like there's just a certain level of difference when you're acting in front of somebody, especially with Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt. Like those are two legendary actors with just a story as great as Seven, dealing with a crime procedural, two cops going at it, trying to solve a crime.
And that's a cut.
I hate this. We needed another minute.
Is this my third one, like judging?
Yes.
Probably.
This is the hardest one. This one I'm really like, I'm stuck.
Give me a dub.
So, Andrew, this is one of my favorite Will Smith performances, and you touched on that. You touched how he's by himself, how he's acting alongside the dog, how he's bringing a lot of emotion on screen while he's like by himself. So he's not like interacting with anyone. But then over here, they're not relying on the CGI and stuff. Yeah. They're relying on storytelling and the acting. And you touched on that, you know, like it's a lot more grounded. It could happen, you know, and they made it feel very real, and it made you feel very scared. And
I Am Legend could happen.
I wish also wish, but
but that's like something that I really like in films is the grounded aspect. So like I'm completely torn here. And I would say like outside of this debate, I would rank these like they're pretty similar movies in terms of like which one I would like to watch and prefer. I know.
Will Smith versus Morgan Freeman, bro.
So I think just for I think I'm gonna go with Justin on this one.
You bat rastard. Two L's in a row. You guys are just teaming against me.
Listen, I've taken L after L after L. Like,
I want to make sure he still comes back.
I need one.
You had a really good argument, and you had a great movie. Again, I know. I say it all the time, but one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time.
Seven is one.
He literally says that all the freaking.
But we're always talking about the similar movies.
We need to do an episode on your top 10 list
so people can see it.
Because I don't even know your top 10 list because.
Well,
there's like 20 of them.
I know now it involves Seven. It involves The Dark Knight, Django Unchained,
Matrix.
Like at least 4 we got down.
I mean, I could spew them, but we'll do an episode top 10.
Yeah, that was good.
That's it's really a phenomenal movie. So that's what I was thinking when you said when I said that a second ago. That's not a hard pick for me between the movies because Seven for me is an all-timer. It's David Fincher's best movie probably. I think it's better than Fight Club. I really, really love it.
I haven't even seen Fight Club yet, which is a sin, but like, you know, that's the 8th deadly sin, so.
It's a phenomenal movie. But I Am Legend's really good. I felt like
directed Social Network.
David Fincher as well.
You don't think that's his best one? You like Seven better?
They're both in my top 10. And Fight Club's not. But I go back to this.
Seven or Fight Club, go.
Seven or Fight Club. I think the more I rewatch them, I have to maybe give it to Seven.
What about Social Network?
The Social Network script is just so good. It's tough.
But Seven's
the Sorkin script on that is like, it might be my favorite script.
All right, me and you. 4 minutes. Do you want to?
What?
One more? One more all the way?
I keep getting thrashed.
You just like
that means I get to be moderator again because I want to relax.
So it's you.
Yeah, it'll be me. Yeah. And
we're doing 4 minutes? 4 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hope you get a trash movie.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Across the Spider-Verse.
I actually No, you didn't. I'm not doing that.
What do you
I'm not doing that.
what do you have?
We need to pick different
What do you
ones.
have?
Have you not seen that one?
No.
Oh,
Oh wait, no. Actually, I can do this one.
What is
I
it?
thought it was a different movie.
Say
I can
you
do
were
it.
supposed to say it on 3.
It's Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I thought it was TMT 2, and I hadn't seen that one, and I didn't want to go up against.
It's TASM 2. TASM 2.
Yeah,
all right. 3. Wait, who's going
both
first?
Spider-Man movies.
Who's going first?
I mean, I'll give you. You need it.
All right, so we'll go minute and a half for you, minute and a half for you, and then 30 seconds each.
Sounds good to me.
All right, ready and action.
Dude, the opening of this movie is incredible.
And that's where everyone stopped liking.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2 has the best web swinging, the best suit animation, the best physics of Spider-Man.
In live action.
Period. And we have the best live action actor, Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. And then we get a ton of villains, and it's great.
We're getting Rhino.
Yeah.
We're getting Electro. We're getting Green Goblin.
Yeah, I was just saying, don't forget about Green Goblin. But honestly, the biggest strength of this, outside of like the physics of how we see Spider-Man move and stuff, is the relationship between Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker. And the ending of that movie where kind of everything's building up and then she ends up falling through the building. And one, cinematography at this scene, incredible. Slow motion, again, goes into the storytelling. It's not just because it's cool, but it's to amplify the impact of the moment, that he's literally reaching out his web, the extension of his hand, to go and catch his love of his life.
10 seconds.
And he missed, and that had an incredible emotional impact that I don't think Across the Spider-Verse had.
So that's a joke. Across the Spider-Verse has insane emotional impact. It's all about Miles trying to have his cake and eat it too, and being split between worlds. He wants to save his father, who he's being told he has to let die. It's about literally holding the weight of the world in his hand. His the loss of his uncle in the last movie, and now he's being told he's going to have to lose his father. You can't tell me that's not every bit.
I don't know if you've noticed, but Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man also lost his uncle.
Yeah, but I'm saying that this is every bit as emotional, the tie to losing his family members. And then the animation in this completely groundbreaking. Could you turn your phones off? So the animation in this is so good. Talking about cinematography, the shot where they walk upside down on that gargoyle and sit down is so peak. It's better than the cinematography of TASM 2.
Oh, get out of here. Them just walking and turning with the camera turn at the same time is not better.
Your movie has one Spider-Man. My movie has 200 Spider-Man.
Exactly. Your movie to be good needed more than one of the main characters.
Said to be good.
Oh my God.
Do not disturb needs to be turned
Yeah,
on.
can you
But it will still go on my camera.
I'm pausing the timer.
So,
All right, let's give it 5 seconds.
Where is the do not disturb?
Here. We see.
You swipe down, it's on should just be right there.
That's crazy.
So, okay, start my timer again.
Yep.
So, this movie is beautifully done in a ton of different animation styles. You've got different universes traveled to, whereas you've just got New York. I've got Manhattan, then I've got Mumbat, and then I've got the Spider Society in 2099. I've got Oscar Isaac performing, so many incredible voice actors. The cast of my movie is stacked. Your character is in my movie. Andrew Garfield has a cameo. You've got Spider-Man from the video game in this movie. You've got, like I said, 200 Spider people and voice performances from.
Done.
Oh, so now we're in.
That was 4 minutes?
Seconds?
Yes. 30 seconds. Final thoughts.
Okay. Best live action Spider-Man, best cinematography that goes around Spider-Man. We got to be like Spider-Man as he's swinging through the city. And that was the coolest part for me. Like growing up watching Spider-Man was feeling like I could be Spider-Man. That's something that everyone connects to when
9
watching
seconds.
Spider-Man. But the TASM movies, both of them, but especially this one, really like punts you into the suits with the POV shots as he's swinging, the sound effects
Let's
that
talk
go
about
in.
the villains, because you mentioned the villains as literally a laughing off joke.
is he gonna
Whereas
class-
my villain is the Spot. I have a great villain in my movie, and then Miguel O'Hara as the other villain, Spider-Man 2099. Insane themes, incredible music, and I've got to wrap around and mention the animation again, which is ridiculous. This movie is animated in so many different styles, in different universes. Like, Mumbattan looks incredible. The movement is so smooth. The spider people look beautiful. There's so much creativity of designs. We gave it a perfect 5 out of 5 on character design when we rated this.
All right, done. I need one aspect of this film to be talked about. I need you guys to, I don't even know if I want to time it. I'll just guesstimate the time, but I need you guys to specifically focus on the main character of each film, talk about them for roughly 30 seconds and why they're better than the other main character. Obviously speaking about the main Spider-Man.
You wanna go?
Yeah, I'll go first. So in your movie, Peter Parker, which I think is a great character, he's kind of like, he doesn't have much of an arc. He's trying to decide between being Spider-Man and giving up MJ and all this. It's not that complicated. My Spider-Man is dealing with the weight of universes on his shoulders, literally choosing
MJ
to sacrifice
isn't
one
really in
life
this movie.
to sacrifice one life for everyone. He's sacrificing between his dad's life, and he's deciding he can have his cake and eat it too. He's deciding, I'm going to put my foot down and be a different kind of Spider-Man, a different kind of Spider-Man that another 200 spider people could not be, and make the impossible decision that he can do everything. And he's had the loss that they've had. He's lost his uncle just like they've lost their Uncle Ben, but he is putting his foot down, planting himself like a tree, as Captain America would say, and pointing in another direction. And it's such a good arc for him, coming from even the first movie where he was so unsure of himself and had no confidence, to now go against the biggest, toughest Spider-Man of Miguel O'Hara and say, I'm going to do it my way.
All right. Aaron. Every
You're
time.
just thinking about who you're going to give the win.
There's a lot of A's going on in this conversation. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is grounded, right? He's not going across all these universes. He's the friendly
Spider-Man.
He's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but he's gone through the most emotional turmoil in terms of like what's displayed on screen. Because all Spider-Mans have lost. It's a canon event, right? But in this one, in TASM, TASM 2, you referenced my movie. We get to see that on like a personal level, and he didn't win in the end. And sometimes that's a good storytelling, is to not always have these characters, especially superheroes, win at the end.
Got beat by Goober Goblin.
Booger Goblin.
And yours is getting beat up by himself currently. So
Hey, he's about to win that fight. Wait till he busts out the Spider Venom.
yeah, predictable, right? Always winning. But mine set up a lot of things for the future, and I know we haven't got to see your future yet.
Set up a lot of things for a future so bright that we still never seen it.
Yeah, we did. We did see it. Were you not watching
When he
Far
showed up at
From
No Way Home?
Yeah, or No Way Home?
That's what they set up?
Yeah, we still got to see the emotional turmoil of how much he like suffered and how he turned dark.
That was a cheesy line in that movie.
Oh my
I got
god.
bitter. I stopped pulling my punches. I'm emo Spider-Man.
This guy. Justin.
Okay, I got my
Take it away.
work cut out for me, bro. Should I say it now or should I say it after I pick?
I think you should build suspense.
All right. So there's a lot of good points that were brought up. I think the biggest point that Andrew has is the multiversal aspect of his movie and the weight that Miles has on his shoulders of being essentially the best iteration of Spider-Man that could ever exist in the multiverse.
Stakes.
I think the best point Aaron brought up was the fact that it doesn't end well for Andrew, not this Andrew, but
Garfield.
Andrew
Also
Garfield.
doesn't end well for this Andrew in this debate either.
Mine also loses in the end.
For Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Both are second films in their respective series, whatever. One aspect I didn't really hear much of was the music, so I can't really talk much about that.
I mentioned the music.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mentioned the theme, Spider-Man, Miguel O'Hara's theme. And
Okay, I wasn't. I must have thought that you were talking about the theme of the character instead of the.
Yeah, wasn't
Music
clear
thing.
in your argument.
I was also kind of trying to focus so hard, but didn't hear the music on your side, which is fine. Music is a huge part, but it's not the biggest part.
it's Hans Zimmer, right? For the
It is.
Puzzle movies.
It's Hans. It's actually the Magnificent Six. They named themselves, and that was the only movie they named themselves for. It was Hans Zimmer, Benjamin Wallfish, Lauren Balfe, and some other ones. They tried
And
to
then the no names.
they tried to create a Sinister Six of musical composers.
Those are good ass composers.
Yeah.
Thank
That didn't work out. But anyway, so those are the 2 points that I have ringing in my head. Great performances that I've heard from Oscar Isaac, Chris Pine.
He's not in this one, but he's in the first one.
That was from the last pick.
Jake Johnson plays the
Jake Johnson.
Bum Spider-Man.
Yeah, I thought of Joe Johnson. But yeah, so great performances there. Great live action performances from Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. Hard to pick, bro. Man. I think based on the fact
I
that
don't know where he's going.
I think the fact that the performance and the way it ended for Andrew Garfield's and the way you delivered it will have to give it the edge.
No way.
You guys are on something.
Let's go.
Because that was like he said. I mean, yeah, we saw No Way Home, but like you also mentioned, it's not done yet with Spider-Verse, so we haven't seen the culmination of his character. Regardless,
the culmination of his either.
regardless
of a trilogy.
regardless of the fact that whether the trilogy ended or not, the fact that that is the last iteration of the true Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and the way it ended with him and his character, or his girlfriend slash fiance, whatever it was.
But so you hold no weight to my argument of all the different universes, animation styles, and different Spider people.
There's great weight to that. But I do like the fact that this one focuses on just one instead of, not saying that Spider-Verse gets too like in the weeds, but it also kind of does with showing so many different Spider-Mans that you almost lose the focus of the one that you should care about.
I'm arguing to the wrong
Dang,
people
that's a
here.
good point. I should have said that. That was
Like-
good. That was good.
You should have mentioned the end
it-
of your movie
It's not
when he comes back. That's a true Spider-Man moment when he comes back with the kid as Spider-Man. That would have been a good argument.
Yeah.
it's not
let's get to
bad.
this one.
It's not bad, but like it does get in the weeds. But yeah, Aaron wins. Also, I haven't seen Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, wait, I'm not picking.
That could hurt my argument.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, you are, because I'm the moderator now.
Yeah, you just fought with him, so
Yeah, so I'm the moderator.
Mhm.
So
No.
what am I picking?
no, he's a moderator. I was just the moderator, so he's the moderator.
Oh, shoot, you're right. Okay, I thought we were one ahead.
I think we
My
have
bad.
Time.
Ready? And that's your topics in 3, 2, 1.
Batman and Robin.
Oh, I'm going against you. I was looking at you.
All right.
That's why I was confused. I thought you were picking
We
one.
might have. Ready, guys?
I want to hear you go.
Me?
So what I'm
Yeah.
gonna do is a minute, and then free for all.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Justin's going first. Start.
All right. So Batman and Robin. There's been so much hate for this movie. I do not understand why. The title itself, you get Batman and Robin in their first movie as Batman and Robin together, live action on screen together. Talk about having George Clooney as Batman for the first time ever. George Clooney, such an amazing actor. The chin is undebatable, one of the best bat chins ever. The suit is god tier. I mean, come on. The silver with
nipples?
with the nipples. Yeah, I mean, it's great. The suit up scene. What more could you want in a Batman suit up scene? Like, it shows you all the close-ups you want to see. Like, am I right? Like, you put the utility belt on, you see the cheeks,
It reminds me of like Bible Man.
bro. And
not all of it.
Bible Man is goated.
Suit
dude.
of armor.
And,
5
and,
seconds.
And Robin too. 5 seconds. Dude. Robin. Chris O'Donnell's great.
Okay. I'm going to start off with the cinematography. I know. Surprising. But the oneer in the church, I think right there already wins me the debate. It was phenomenal. The timing and the choreography, as well as the special effects and the filmmaking that went into making that scene was impeccable. There were so many moving parts. And when you're watching it, especially for that first time, you're like there, and there's no cuts on the camera that you see, like you're really involved in the
the rest of
action.
the movie.
The story where there's a
20
chip,
seconds.
a chip that the slur from Samuel L. Jackson's Valentine has implanted into everyone's head, and then the violence that goes into what that chip does. But he's afraid to even watch what he's doing. He's a compelling villain in like a different way. Like he's not the vicious villain
Free for all.
that wants to do it himself.
Yo,
he
okay,
wants to
so
just
I
conquer.
need you to stop talking because Arnold Schwarzenegger is in this film.
Who?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He's trying to make fun of your voice.
Yeah,
He's done. He's that's the point.
It's hard to say his name.
Got it.
Arnold
Michael
Schwarzenegger
Caine is in this movie.
Oh, Michael Caine. Oh, he is. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a point for that. Uma Thurman, Michael Goff, the original classic Alfred. I mean, come on. That's what
Yeah,
Michael
I
Caine.
have the best Alfred in my movie.
But yes, Michael Caine is the best Alfred, but Michael Caine modeled his Alfred after Michael Goff. Anyway.
Did he though?
He did. They look the same. But anyway.
I also have Mark Strong, another amazing film.
Oh yeah. Well, if you go back to my Green
not
Lantern
villain in that
debate, like
No, he's not. You're right.
he's not a great actor apparently, according to Andrew. So
No, I love Mark Strong.
but Batman and Robin, I mean, come on, dude. You see Bane, you see Poison Ivy, you see Batman, you see Robin.
Yeah,
you
but
see
tell me about the
Batgirl.
story. You're not telling me about the story at all. You're
story
just
is
naming all
great.
these characters
The
that are
story
well
is-
known.
is
That's all you're
great.
doing.
You see Batman.
This is more original than Batman and Robin. That was done very poorly. This is
Okay,
like
this
the
is
worst
James
Batman
Bond
on,
with
like,
Taron
all of the
Egerton
movies.
in it and Mark
yeah,
Strong.
And that's freaking fantastic.
Directed
Why?
by
Because
Matthew
it's rated
Vaughn.
R. It's rated R. It goes above and beyond what
Bro, if you
what
saw the freaking
James Bond does. It's
okay.
more than just a James Bond movie.
Okay, what they show some nude butt cheeks at the end? Like that's it. Like all,
What do you mean that's it? Their heads explode off. You don't see anything
yeah,
like
it's
that in
CGI.
James Bond.
Rated R is like
20
constant R, constant cuss words, constant blood, constant everything. Kingsman is not that. It's just that
No,
one
because
church
it's
scene.
classy. It's classy at the same time while being brutal. It's
What?
what?
Batman and Robin is more classy than Kingsman.
Explain how.
George Clooney. All right.
What about
the
him?
most classy,
Worst Batman suit there is.
sexy
All right, time is
Batman?
In less than
Hate that rigor.
real quick, in less than 30 seconds, tell me about why the main character in your movie is good. Eggsy, Batman.
I love how his name's Eggsy.
Well, Eggsy starts off as kind of this rambunctious kid, right? Like he doesn't really know his way. His family's not in a good spot, and then he kind of finds this mentor where he becomes a secret agent with all this pressure of performing, and then the connection that you have with the dog, the other characters at the school, the different tricks that they play on them to test them and train them, and then he at the end ends up saving the day.
Cut.
Yeah, see, so Batman is the exact opposite of Eggsy. He is that mentor character who's dealing with a new Robin, with a new Batgirl, dealing with the villains Bane, Freeze, and Poison Ivy. He has to learn how to become that father figure type of character and let go of his ego.
Yeah, but you're
Take care-
describing any Batman story.
I mean, that's Batman. Like,
Exactly, but it's the same thing over and
I mean,
over.
that's
This is
Ja-
unique.
That's James Bond. He's an agent who's trying to become the better agent to serve the
This is not
the
James
world.
Bond.
Okay. So, man, good arguments. Good arguments. There's an easy choice for which movie I like better.
Nice.
Us arguments aside, I really like Kingsman a lot. It's very good. And Aaron, man, you opened up so strong with your argument about the Oneer. It's obviously the holy grail of the movie. Justin, I don't even think you mentioned the laundry karate.
I mean, if you're gone enough, that is one of the greatest scenes ever. But like,
If you're not in the right state of mind,
yeah,
you would
do
love
fe-
this movie.
I do feel like you should have avoided mentioning the suit at all.
bro, the suit is legendary.
The cast is great.
Not for the right reasons.
And not for the right reasons, but yeah, it's legendary.
I love that Arnold Schwarzenegger is in there when you mentioned that. And Aaron was like,
Puns.
"What's the point?" I was like, "He's got a good point."
It's Arnold, dude. It's Terminator.
One of his worst movies.
But Aaron had really, really good points about how good his villains were in his movie. Or the Samuel L. Jackson is a really complicated villain in that movie. Interesting, written differently. I think the movie's Kingsman is kind of interesting, like a cross between James Bond and Agent Cody Banks. I think that's what differentiates it, is like the age of the main character and then like the training sequence at the school, which is really highlighted in the first movie. I do wish you would have brought that up.
Yeah. It's hard for me.
I love a training
Sharing it
sequence.
too.
But at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to give another dub to Aaron.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were about to say Justin. I was gonna freak out. I was gonna be like, no way.
Face, bro. You gotta track that shit.
Like I said, what it comes down to for me is the specificity. I like specificity in arguments. I like a reason for why a point is good. And I do love that you brought up like the actors and stuff. but I just was looking for a little bit.
I mean,
more
I gave
specificity.
a very detailed description on the ego character.
At the end, you did. That was really
did.
good. Yeah, that like turned me a little bit towards you. But Aaron also gave a very good description on Etsy's character arc, which is good because he comes from like nothing and being
He
a
also
young
had
kid
a better
to-
character arc to go from.
Yeah, he did. You had scraps. You had scraps for a lot of these.
I was like scrounging
Yeah.
for all
That's
these
very
picks.
bad.
You
luck
were
with your draws.
fighting uphill for sure.
Aaron got one of the movies you put in as a good movie, and you got one of the movies we put in as a bad movie.
Yeah.
I put this movie in.
Okay.
I won once.
So you're the moderator. So we're done.
Oh,
right?
we're done. Yeah, we're done.
Okay. That's it.
Thank you so
Sad-
much to
sad
anybody who listened to this episode. It really, really means a lot, Justin. Thanks so much for coming out here. I'm sorry I didn't give you more wins.
Always a pleasure to lose on Backseat Directing.
We'll see what Jay thinks about your argument.
Oh, man.
But thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. Again, it's another one of our longer episodes. We do have some stuff in the works, Aaron, if you want to talk about it real quick.
Yeah, we got a bunch of stuff that we're working on. By the time this comes out, have already happened, I believe. But we're live streaming Spider-Man 2. If that goes well, maybe we'll do even more live streams, and that's for the video game, of course.
We're doing that on 10/20 on Friday.
Yeah, when the day that it comes out. So we're very excited. That's something new that we haven't done. The D&D is coming out soon. It's coming out soon. Okay, it's closer than we've ever been.
Yeah.
Not just because we're a day like further, but like it's
Aquaman
coming.
2.
Said
Yeah,
on the live that we're going to make a t-shirt that says the D&D episode is coming, ... eventually.
Yeah. You got to do it now.
yeah. It's just gonna be one of those things that we just never realize, but we always bring it up. That'd be hilarious. But then we're also doing a short film that I'm very excited for. I've been wanting to make a short film for a long time, and I'm excited to do that with Andrew. He wrote an awesome script, and now we're like kind of figuring
gonna
out
be
all the
helping us
shots.
also.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to next. Justin is going to be filming and kind of helping set up all the shots because Andrew and I are actually going to be acting in it, which I still haven't wrapped my head around yet.
It's going to be awesome. Django Unchained level performances coming soon. So,
That's great.
Haven't
Again,
seen
he
that
hasn't
movie.
seen Django Unchained, so
but I know it's great.
yeah.
But yeah, thanks again so much for listening to this episode. We appreciate you. Leave a comment below. Make sure to let us know which arguments you think we won, maybe we picked the wrong person as the judge in your opinion. Let us know.
Yeah, who do you think won each
Yeah.
of these arguments?
That'd be great to know, and let us know what your opinions are on these different movies. But we are super excited to get to our upcoming projects, and we will look forward to interacting with you guys more in the future. For now,
and that's a wrap.